Good morning. It's Fat Tuesday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. I'm drinking my coffee out of my heart cup to celebrate love. And I posted something on social media the other day because I wanted to have fun. I have fun with these astrological memes because sometimes they're eerily accurate and sometimes they're just ridiculous. But I wanted to share something um, that was fun about how different signs view Valentine's Day. And the most common response I got was people who are single interested in the history. And I remembered when I was newly single for the first time, gosh, it's been quite a few years ago. I wrote an article for an online, when I was writing for an online magazine, about the history of Valentine's Day because it was very therapeutic for me to discover what that was. I needed to understand why it's so commercialized and what's so special about it now. So, let me give you a really quick rundown on what I discovered, and I can include links to other sources so you can look into it more yourself if you're interested. But it's really therapeutic, and I'll explain to you a little bit how it's therapeutic for me in my wrap up. So, um, the pagan holiday Lupercalia was celebrated in ancient Rome, February 13th through 15th. And it was a fertility celebration, and you can look into that more on your own because it sounds super creepy to me now, and I don't really want to get into it. But they loved it, so that's great for them. Um, so when Christianity came along, they decided to make Valentine's Day, since everybody had the fertility mindset, and they still wanted to celebrate something. But obviously, they changed it a lot if you look at what Lupercalia actually was. Um, they wanted to change it, so they made Valentine's Day for February 14th to celebrate love. And there's a lot of debate on the origins, exactly how it turned into what it did, because they didn't start like Valentine's cards and stuff weren't really popularized until the 1300s. But back here's some of the stories, as no one can really be sure how accurate these are, but this is what I have discovered in my research. Um, there were at least one, up to possibly three Valentines who served for the church as priests. I don't think popes, but they were, when they served for the Roman church, one of them was actually, at least two of them were martyred if it wasn't the same person, because there's debate on that too when I look at different things. But one was killed on February 14th, and the church named him Saint Valentine because they made him a saint when he died, because he was marrying people, which was against the law. Emperor Claudius II had outlawed it because he believed that men would make better soldiers if they weren't married and had families to worry about, which you can kind of understand the logic there, but it was it was obviously didn't go over very well. So Valentine, Saint Valentine now, was caught marrying people because he believed in love and sanctity of marriage and all of that. So he's willing to risk his life to marry people. And then there's another story of a Valentine who was imprisoned because he was caught helping Romans, members of the church, escape the Roman prisons who were wrongly convicted of something. And when he was caught and jailed, he ended up falling in love with what they think is a jailer's daughter, because they don't know who else he would have really had contact with. Knowing he was dying probably helped perpetuate that love a little bit, but they had found letters to her, and he had signed one before he died, from your Valentine. And these people were martyrs for love, but in love, neither of them really for romantic love, for their own experience. Um, Whether it was like a selfless love to help save other people or to help other people celebrate their own love, which I think is a really beautiful thing, especially if you're single, or newly single, because it helps you kind of get a little perspective. Because Valentine's Day has become so commercialized and focused so much on the romantic part of it, when that's not originally why these people died. was for, their undying love for one other human being, but their love in general. They were loving people. And I think that it's a really important piece to wrap your mind around and your heart around during this time of year, especially when you are coupled up or not. Because when you're coupled up, that's a beautiful thing too, and celebrating it, I think it's important to have, whether you want to call them rituals or anniversaries or different dates where you have to sit still a little bit and really celebrate something that you have. It's a way of living in gratitude. So there's nothing wrong with having a Valentine's Day and having some kind of a celebration that doesn't make you feel taxed financially or otherwise. And you're not doing it out of obligation, but out of reverence. Um, Reverence is an important thing. It helps keep dignity in your experience, and it also helps you appreciate it and live in gratitude. And instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on the different kinds of loves you do have in your life. Because I'll tell you what, after being single again and letting myself experience all these different kinds of love and having people flow in and out of my life with this acceptance that everything is temporary, so really being in the moment as present as possible without overthinking it or projecting any idea or, you know, some fantasy onto somebody, it has broadened my mind and my heart to different kinds of love that I could have never imagined in a million years. And it's interesting how when you just let go and live in gratitude of what you do have, all of a sudden everything expands and it becomes more powerful and more sincere. And you get to know and understand things you would have never imagined because you stop fixating on this idea that you have that's based on your limited experience, and you're open to experiencing more and feeling more, and it's a beautiful and magical thing. So that is what I'm going to celebrate this Valentine's Day, because I am so in love, and it's just in love. Not don't can't really label it to one person. It's just an experience I'm in, and I'm very happy about it. And I recognize when old patterns kick in, and I'm like, oh, but I'm single and I'm alone, and it's like, well, I didn't really have the best Valentine's Day when I was coupled either, so a difference doesn't make. So have fun on Valentine's Day. Enjoy Fat Tuesday and your Ash Wednesday if you are celebrating that on Valentine's Day. I really hope that's not a super big conflict for you in any way. And I'd love to hear any feedback you guys have. Okay? Have a wonderful Valentine's Day and sending lots of love to you.